Hi, and welcome to At-Home Art Lessons with the Art Groupies, where they help us develop great art habits. Our groupie today is going to be Wanda. Wanda understands the art worlds. She realizes that there is more to art than just creating, making connections with the art of other cultures and to find personal meaning and inspiration. That's what Wanda's all about. We're going to take a field trip today to the country of Africa with this guy, John Bonovich. John Bonovich is a famous American artist. He's from the great state of Montana. He was inspired by the Jungle Book, and his dad inspired him to love the outdoors. He's considered a wildlife artist and conservationist. This is a copy of one of his paintings. Yes, that's what I said, paintings. He gets these dramatic portrayals of wildlife by spending lots of time in the field. And that's how he gets this impressive detail to make his wildlife and his animals look so realistic. So we're going to create value today by using just a simple graphite pencil or regular pencil, whatever you have. And you're probably going to need a black and white photo of an elephant. If you're not interested in doing an elephant, you can also do a rhino. So an elephant is the largest mammal on Earth. And we're going to create this elephant by using simple lines. And as the lines connect, they create simple shapes. So even looking at a picture of a wild animal, it's a little overwhelming. So imagine being in the African field with an elephant coming at you. Ooh, has to be a little frightening. So what we're going to do here first is we're going to start with his head. And we're going to start with a very simple shape, which is the shape of an oval. So we're going to start with a simple shape, an oval, for our elephant's head. And then we're going to start with another oval, a little bit more elongated, to create our elephant's trunk. So now that we have the basic shape, we're now going to add a little bit more detail, like perhaps where is the ear? So the ear here is coming out straight, and then it almost looks like another thin oval. Kind of hard to draw a little bit because it's kind of flapping. It's all over the place. So if you just draw the line of the simple shape of what it looks like, you'll get it down. So it's almost like the shape of a triangle. See that? A shape of a triangle. So after we have the basic layout of where that elephant's ear is, we can go back in here with a better line to describe this elephant's head. It kind of comes down a little bumpy and then comes down again and then out for the trunk. The elephant's eye is right around in here. The trunk looks like it's thick in the place where it comes out from the elephant's head, and as it goes down it gets thinner. Looks like he's putting some food into his mouth, so has a little bit of light up in here. So we're going to come down there. Then the bottom part of his mouth comes out here. Looks like that ear might be a little longer than first suspected. That's okay, we can always work back in there. So we're coming down here, adding a little bit more to his neck. His leg looks like it's a simple rectangle. His body takes up just about the entire paper. It's a nice big oval. Again, that back leg, same thing. Looks like the shape of a rectangle. Same with that leg that's behind there, and you can only see a little bit of the front leg. He has that simple shape of a tail. So now that we basically have the shape of the elephant, we want to now start looking and creating value. So we want to show value, and we're going to do that by going in here and laying out with our pencil where those dark colors are. And you don't have to worry about too much detail because we're just basically putting down where we see those colors. And we want our pencil line to go in the same direction as the elephant. So we wouldn't draw it this way because an animal has form and he goes this way. So here we have his leg coming down. Looks like there's some shadow here on the bottom part by his knee. There's some shadows in the front, so his foot comes out. So we can start adding a little bit more of the detail. But we first just want to start off by marking out where the darkest parts or those shadows are to get the form of our elephant down and to start showing value. Lots of color under here, or shadows I should say. So let's go back in here and make this ear a little bit better. I think it's a little bit bigger than I first drew. That shadow is really heavy under here to show those folds. That shadow coming in here. Kind of almost tough to figure out where the ear begins and where the body is. We're just going to mark down these shadows. And that's how we're going to get started on creating our elephant. And then we can always go back in and add more detail. Again, the trunk is rounded, so we're going to round our pencil line. Let's round it all in here as well. So thinking about where that light is hitting it will help. This is pretty dark in here. The eye, almost like the shape of a triangle on its side. Got some really long lashes. Some of those wrinkles. Lots of wrinkles. John Bonavich must have been seeing wrinkles in his sleep when he did his elephant. So there's a little bit of a shadow, not quite as dark as that kind of is all over the eye, coming down in here. So you really have to be like an observant Owen and really see where those shadows are falling. The darkest ones first, and then go ahead and put in the lighter ones. And that will start giving us the form of our elephant. Again, most of our shadows are in here. That back leg is super dark. So we can really go ahead in there and make that really dark. Make that a definite line. Press a little harder. So it's how you vary your strength or the way you press down to get really dark colors versus light colors. Going over top of the same area will also help make that dark color. Think about his toes, those lines, those wrinkle lines. Got a shadow coming in here. Lots of shadows coming in his belly here. Even his tail has some shadows on it. So as you go in and you keep seeing, because you actually start to see more things as you go. So first you're just looking at the shape of the animal, and then you're looking at the shadows and where the dark colors hit, and then the medium colors, until it all starts to come together. And you really don't even start to see an elephant anymore. You just see value. You see the lights and you see the darks. And then you start to just add and just keep going in there until your elephant comes together. So this is my elephant. If you were thinking about doing a rhinoceros, you would do the same thing. Break that shape down, put that animal down into simple shapes, add the darks, and once you have all the darks added in, then what you're going to do is you're going to start thinking about coloring it in fully. So here's the next piece that I started. The side views of animals are much easier to start with. And then as you get better, you can start working with the frontal views. The frontal views are a little bit more difficult because it's a little impressive and a little nerve-wracking looking at that shape. But if you just think about the simple shapes of each part of an animal, if you break it down, it just becomes so much easier. So here on this side, I show you here where I laid out the dark colors and the shadows. And then I just kept working them and just kept going in to create that elephant with all the different value scale of lights and darks, and showing the contrast and pressing harder where the dark colors really were. So I really just want you to experience and see what it's like to create a black and white value animal and have fun with it. Again, John Bonovich is our famous artist. He's also a conservationist because all of the money that he made from the sales of his art pieces, they've been channeled back to support the conservation efforts to promote and protect the habitat of these gigantic animals. So have fun creating your elephant. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Take your time and just have success. Thanks.